raise up, greatest have
LIB, stand up. Take me back to Liberia, where the drums still play my song. Take me back to my homeland. It's the place where I belong.
LIB Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.
Good evening. My name is Isaac S. George, and I like to extend my own warm greetings to you all this evening on National Discourse, a platform that is meant for us to have conversations that are very primal and significant to the forward march of our country, and as well as enabling you all, you know, as a means of providing you as well the opportunity to have your say, after which we shall have concluded our own candid analysis pertinent to all of the issues that are lingering within the public space of our country. But as we usually do, Lavetta Davis will join us on the show this evening to read for us our news, after we are going to delve deep, very deep, into the major happenings that transpired today across the bailiwick of our country. Lavetta, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm great. And how are you?
Yes, I'm doing well as well. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to you reading the news for us.
All right, and a pleasant welcome to LIB today's trending news update with me, Lavetta Davis. ANC Vice Chair for Legal Affairs links huge quantity of drugs entering Liberia to have alternative National Congress Vice Chair for Legal Affairs, Councillor Moriah Yekula, has linked recent drugs to high-profile government officials. In a strongly worded Facebook post, Councillor Yekula said that 19.2 million cocaine at the Roberts International Airport, 300 million cocaine bought in Painesville, 2 drums of meth in Rossville could not have entered Liberia without the agreement or involvement of high-level officials or person within authority. Though she welcomes the arrest and subsequent charges of foreigners and regular citizens, Councillor Yekula alleged that it is a cover-up of those in the system who allowed it to happen for their own benefits. She stressed that regardless of who is involved at the highest level, they must be apprehended and brought to face the law, adding that there should be no scapegoat and low-hanging fruits. The ANC Vice Chair for Legal Affairs noted that Liberia is a country that must be cherished, stressing that only wicked individuals who support drugs entering the country. The leadership of the National Association of State Solicitors of Liberia issued a strongly worded caution to its members, distancing the organization from any actions perceived as challenging the authority of the judiciary or the Ministry of Justice following the reported disciplinary action involving State Solicitor Emmanuel Hitler. In a statement signed by Secretary Alexander D. Twe and by President Ellis Hawkins S. Young, the association expressed sympathy for its colleague while emphasizing that the decision of the Supreme Court of Liberia must be respected by all members. The leadership noted that although it regrets the circumstances surrounding Mr. Hitler, members should recognize that directives issued by the Chief Justice represent the official policy of the judiciary and are binding on those serving within the system. The association also took a firm stance against what it described as unauthorized meeting or actions by members in response to the Supreme Court decision. According to the statement, any individual choosing to act in defiance of the authority of the Chief Justice or the Ministry of Justice does so in a personal capacity and not on behalf of the National Association of State Solicitors. The leadership further warned members against engaging in activities that could expose them to disciplinary or legal consequences, stressing that courtroom assignments are privileges granted by the Ministry of Justice and should never be treated as guaranteed rights. In one of the statement's strongest warnings, the association observed that non-lawyers practicing in courtrooms are now under increased scrutiny and advised members not to gather or circulate evidence that could ultimately be used against themselves. The statement also pointed out that Emmanuel Hitler is not a licensed lawyer and therefore lacks standing to challenge the Supreme Court's decision through legal channels available to members of the bar. Former President Sirleaf urges government to build business integrity for good investment to come to Liberia instead of drug dealers. Former Liberia President Helen Johnson Sirleaf has warned that Liberia must build a good reputation to stop attracting criminal businesses, including those involved in the drugs trade. Speaking at the opening of a two-day national conference on women's financial inclusion in Concord Town, Madam Johnson Sirleaf said Liberia needs a government that investors can trust and respect if it wants more banks and genuine investment. Her comments come as authorities investigate the recent discovery of more than 300 million worth of cocaine in Liberia. We have to build confidence in all aspects of our national endeavor, Sirleaf said. Otherwise, we might have those bad businesses like those drug people who are coming here. We have to build that confidence, she added. She maintained that building confidence in the government will help attract legitimate businesses while keeping it in the country. Zor Chiefdom elders declare Koga Nima's new godfather. Elders of Zor Chiefdom have declared Senator Samuel Koga the new godfather of Nima, describing the title as a symbolic traditional recognition following the death of former Senator Prince Johnson. The declaration was made by Paramount Chief Joseph Yelu Yomi during a traditional gathering in Zwolle on Tuesday, where he said the elders had unanimously chosen Koga to assume the symbolic role. Chief Yomi urged the senator to remain focused on his responsibilities despite criticism while representing him with kola nuts and white chicken as traditional symbols of acceptance and respect. Accepting the honor, Senator Koga expressed gratitude to the traditional leaders and citizens for the confidence they have placed in him, describing the recognition as a great honor. He pledged to continue serving all Namibians with humanity, fairness, and dedication, stressing that the country's future depends on unity, mutual respect, and inclusive development. The senator also called on the Libyans to embrace reconciliation, peace, and unity. He asked for forgiveness from anyone he may have offended, saying it is time for the country to move forward together. Godfather title must be earned, not declared. Representative Q questions Kogar's recognition. Nima County District Number 5 Representative Kotu Kweku has questioned the recent of Nima. So a title should be earned through years of service, leadership, and measurable achievements. Comparing Senator Kogar's recognition to the influence of Senator Prince Yomi Johnson, Representative Kweku said the late Senator Johnson's status was built over decades through his leadership and impact rather than through an official declaration. He questioned whether the late Senator Johnson received the title of Godfather through an official declaration or did his track record earn it for him. The lawmaker's comments come after elders and citizens of Zor Chiefdom declare the new godfather of Nimba, a move that has generated public discussion across the county. Representative Kweku called on leaders to prioritize development and public service, saying lasting legacies are created through achievements and contributions rather than titles. And Liberia's 179th Independence Day national orator, Dr. Harbor Burrow, challenges Liberians to read their history, warning that a nation that loses its identity risks losing its future. Delivering the Independence Day oration in Buchanan, Dr. Burrow urged citizens to reject distorted accounts of Liberia's past and embrace their shared heritage as the foundation for unity and national progress, declaring that Liberians should never be ashamed of their history, as it is a shared inheritance to be proud of. He called on Liberians, especially the younger generation, to protect the country's legacy, strengthen national unity, and ensure that history becomes a tool for building a stronger Liberia rather than a source of division. That was the latest new update from Liberia. My name is Lovetta Davis. Good evening.
Say Lovera Davis, we want to thank you for such a wonderful and a splendid reading over there when it comes to our news this evening. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for reading our news again. I hope to see you next week.
Bye bye.
Okay, Lovera. So, fellow Liberians, that's it. We have come to you again this evening to bring to your attention several other major happenings across our country. And I want to start by saying good evening from wherever you are following this interview. Good evening to you, and good evening to those of you that are following via the internet. We are excited, to have you join us this evening so that we can have a conversation surrounding these issues. These issues that are going on in our country. So, one of the things I usually say before engaging into the meat of my appearance on this platform or my own part of the day's broadcast is the fact that this country is a nation for which we can never divorce ourselves from. That is to say, whatever we do, whatever transpire, irrespective of the political party we represent, the tribal affinity we have, the religious background we have as well. One cannot divorce himself or herself from being a Liberian. And that is what we should have at the back of our minds. Because when we sit on this platform, when we sit on any major national platform or international platform, it gives us the responsibility to represent Liberia in a fashion, in a way that will make us to to have that sense of recognition, to have that sense of responsibility that we owe a great due to this nation. And as a result of that, we must act in such context. We must govern ourselves in the way, manner, and fashion through which it is empirical, very imperative as well, to know that Liberia is our common denominator, that Liberia is our common patrimony. And as a result of that, we must jealously uphold, keep, and shield, cover as well whatever image Liberia stand to possess. Right? So that is why we as Liberians, I'm admonishing every one of us here this evening on the platform to be able to have that sense of recognition, to be able to have that sense of belonging, that Liberia belongs to us, that we belong to Liberia as a nation and people, and we must hold together. We must not divide. We must not splinter into divisive or division elements, right? So we must hold together irrespective of our background. And that is one thing we have not been able to do to a larger extent. The nation seems to be divided. A certain group of people do not believe that a specific group of people should hold certain public positions, and that is a very archaic concept. That is a outmoded belief. And in order for us to obliterate, or perhaps in order for us to squash that out of our political and social space, these are the kinds of messages we should be preaching to one another, disclosing the need for us to jealously keep the image of this country sacred, and to jealously withhold the independence, one liberty, justice for all. We can never be divided. One nation, fellow Liberians. And that is what we should do. So again, I'm Isaac S. George. I'm your host this evening. I like to say welcome to the National Discourse, a platform that renders you the opportunity to get informed, get educated, as well as gives you the opportunity to participate as it relates to all of the major national issues that are taking place across our country. And I'd like to say thank you again for joining me this evening as we look towards our conversation that we will be having here this evening. I hope it is going to be a very fascinating one, that were you to join, you will have your say on the platform this evening as to the talking points that will be highlighted, and you will be very civil. You are not going to throw jabs or perhaps personally attack certain public official or someone who may be able to express, or someone who will express a dissenting opinion in contrast to yours. So again, I like to say thank you for joining us there in Radio Land, and I'm Isaac S. George. I want us to begin with this entire, power issue, this energy issue, because it is a very vital issue in our country. When you have energy in the state, that is, when the state is energized through the availability of electricity, water, and everything that, comprise or that make up the energy sector, then fellow Liberians, you have an economy that is thriving, simply because the availability of constant electricity is an economical boost to the nation. Yes, the availability of electricity is an economical boost to the nation. And that is one of the things, that is one of the sectors we have been able to struggle with as a nation and people. We have struggled to a great deal, to an extent that monies have been expended, but the impact of the expenses cannot be seen. All of the finances that have been expended in relation to us boosting the energy sector, for us making it much more equipped to an appreciable extent, we have not been able to, actually reap the benefit. Over half a billion since post-war Liberia, over half a billion has been expended in order to boost the energy sector of this country. But in a very unfortunate context, we cannot boast of it because we do not have the availability of energy across our country. And it is a matter worth discussing. It is a matter worth being discussed. And that is why I am bringing it to your attention as one of the first talking points on our platform this evening, so that we can have an appreciation of, how dismal, how ineffective, how inefficient the energy sector of our country is, and what we can do. What are those methodologies that we can employ to bridge the gap between the availability and unavailability of energy by, ensuring that Liberians have access to energy across the country, not only Monrovia, but the way vast majority of the communities and the environs of Monrovia are short of electricity. They are cut off the power grid of this nation. So we have not been able to boost electricity even in our country's capital. We have not been able to boost electricity in our nation's capital to, an appreciable extent. And it represents a picture that is condemnable. It represents, or it provides to us a picture that worth condemning. It is not something you can exhort. It is not something you can thank. It is not something you can adulate as a Liberian, because the availability of electricity is an elusive matter. No, we do not have the provision of electricity. So where am I coming from? In 2005, between February 3rd to February 9th, the president of this country, His Excellency President Borkai, I organized a committee headed by Vice President Jeremiah Kwan, to ensure that they construct policies, they try to encapsulate ideas that are in line with the arrest agenda, and to be able to ensure that those ideas be enshrined within a framework so that electricity in our country can be boosted to an appreciable extent. It has been more than 1 year, 6 months. It has been more than a year and a half. Yet, we have not seen how effective the electricity problem of our country is being tackled. We have not been able to see that. So then we ask, what was the essence of the meeting being held on the farm of the vice president last year of February? Because the essence of having such a high level meeting as it relates to a very significant matter concerning the recurrent condition of the state is to find immediate solution so that the citizens can have an appreciation of what is transpiring in that particular sector, such as the electricity sector or the energy sector. Today, you go to our respective homes in our respective communities. We do not have the availability of water. Yes, water and sewerage is part of the energy sector of our country. It boosts the country's economy to a larger extent because once people have water available to them, they go about purchasing, paying taxes, paying remittance to the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation so that they can have access to the availability, they can have access to water. But again, it is a very sad thing to realize that we cannot see these things. It is a very sad thing to realize that. So this is a clarion call to the president of the country, President Bogai. When you gave the responsibility to your vice president to have that high level meeting, which was meant to get back to you so that the energy and electricity sector of our country can be boosted to a greater extent, we believe that that particular meeting over 1 year, 6 months have not been able to have, the Liberian people being convinced, the Liberian people to have that level of believability when it comes to what the government has done in that regard. And that is why we are telling you, Mr. President, that is why we are having you informed that the energy sector is very, very much primal. And we must look at it in that direction. It is primal, very primal. Very primal, Mr. President. Dry season is coming. When Mr. Cummings said the Liberia Electricity Corporation should be renamed the Liberia Rainy Season Electricity Corporation, it was a laughable matter, but it is a fact. It is a fact because we only see LEC very available in this nation. We only see LEC very available in this nation during the course of the rainy season. As soon as the rainy season elapses, we no longer, fellow Liberians, have an idea of where the electricity that was effective during the period of the rainy season has gone. We no longer have that experience because we have not been able to tackle that. So I would like to agree with Mr. Cummings. I would like to agree with him that the Liberia Electricity Corporation should be renamed the Liberia Rainy Season Electricity Corporation. What are the technicians doing? What are the methodologies they are employing? What are those methodologies? So that during the rainy season, Liberians cannot sleep in darkness. I want us to take a break. I want to attend nature very shortly. Tuzon, can we take a break? I want us to take a break very shortly. I want us to
From
take
the Taurus Tower on the UN Drive, opposite the BTC.
We are just passing by. Just passing by. Every soul on this earth has an expiry date. Don't get too attached, nothing here was made to stay. On average you'll get 70 years if you're even lucky, and we are not even promised to reach that. Trust me, so why are you running like this world is forever? Chasing things that vanish like a change in the weather. You came into this world with nothing in your hand, and nothing leaves with you when you return to the sand. No king has ever taken his crown to the grave. No rich man carried his billions beyond the grave. No powerful man took his empire when he left. They all departed with nothing, just their final breath. We are just passing by. This is not our home. Every throne ever built has been left all alone. 70 years, that is all. Maybe less, maybe more. Don't get attached to it's glitter and light. The graves of the greatest have already been filled. So who do you think you are? Who do we think we are still? Pharaoh shook the earth with his power and his name.
Yes, so thank you for being there with us. Thank you for sticking with us, fellow Liberians. As I said, the energy sector of our country is very important to be looked at, because the economy of the state cannot move progressively when the energy sector, which is meant to provide one electricity to the citizen as well as to attract investment in the country, is not effective, efficient, incredible, and reliable. No, that means the economy of the country in terms of energy cannot move forward. It cannot move forward. And that is something we can look at as a country and people. That is one of the things that can provide job opportunities. It can make people to get involved into, local businesses. It can even drive investors because, one, you have the availability of electricity. You have the availability of electricity. So it is a very, very, very important aspect of our nation for which we should be able to take into consideration. We should be able to take that into consideration. And I like the way it is being placed. I like the way it is being placed, fellow Liberians, when it comes to the energy sector of our country. I like the way it is being placed. I like that. The reason why is because how can our sector be only effective 6 months in the year when the year has 12 months? How is that possible? How reliable is the energy sector of this nation? It is not. It is not. So it is just, an admonishment to the government of the day to have them reminded that the energy sector is one of the means through which the government can, be given a very thumbs up, a very good thumbs up when it comes to, their effectiveness. We want to see homes across our country electrified. We want to see homes across our country connected. Because darkness, it is not a good thing. It is not good for the nation to be dark. The reason why we're having this conversation now, because we are approaching the dry season. We are in July, August, September, but by the middle of October, We have already concluded the rainy season and will be approaching the initial stage of the dry season. And we want to remind the government that the meeting held on the vice president's farm in February of 2025, we have now seen the aftermath, a positive aftermath of that particular meeting that was being held as it relates to boosting energy across our country. There are homes, even in the city, those homes are not electrified, they are not connected as well. So we must look in that regard. We must look in that regard. So I'd like to say thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Isaac S. George. You are listening to Kia Radio 95.9 FM, and this is the National Discourse, a platform that provides every one of us the opportunity to have our voices, being heard, as well as, disclosing to the Liberian masses, those of you that are seated in Radio Land, and those of you that are following us live via the internet, that our candid opinion as well is being given on this particular platform, so that you can understand where we do stand as individuals, as a political party, as institutions. So we like to say welcome, and thank you for being there with us this evening as we delve deep into most of the major national happenings and sectorial and issues that are very important. And this particular energy issue is a sectorial matter that we can explore and have a conversation on, because it borders on a very significant and very, very much particularly important aspect of our nation, that is electricity and the energy sector. Yes. So electricity, Mr. President, electricity is very important. So we look forward to the government. Ensuring that they tackle the issue of electricity in this country. Yes. We look forward to the government tackling the issue of electricity in this country. I really do not know, I should say, I really do not know what we can do as a nation and people. I do not know what we can do as a nation and people to have an impression as it relates to the way our leaders are leading us. We have protested. We have talked on the radio. We have gone to the social media. We have written. We have used our voices on live videos. Yet our country remains in a very stagnant, depreciating, retrogressive, as well as unappreciative state. That is the state for which our nation is in currently. That is the state. And one wants us to believe that this nation is moving forward. One wants us to believe that this nation of ours is moving forward. In our context, in our belief, the nation is stagnant. It is not going behind. It is not going in front. It is remaining as it is, because what drives the nation forward is not being seen. It is not being seen. The elements that place the nation on its rightful path, those elements are not being seen. And it is the reason why we do think Liberia is stagnated. Liberia seems to be stifled by a very selfish group of individuals calling themselves leaders of this country. very selfish group of individuals calling themselves and labeling themselves leaders of this nation, when in fact, fellow Liberians, they do not have any iota, any element that embodies leadership within them. Their orientation, their political, social, or family orientation does not, or do not embody or embody a very perfect, responsible, refined, and appreciable leadership quality. Not at all. What do I mean? The way in which we have been led. Recently, we celebrated our own, independence. We celebrated our independence as a nation and people. Over 170 to 79 years. Yet, all of the menaces in a very dysfunctional society, that is what we are experiencing. Those are the things we are experiencing as a nation and people, as Liberians. All of the menaces you can point to in a very dysfunctional society, these are the things we are experiencing as a nation and people, which is particularly disheartening. It is very disheartening to know. So, where are we headed? How are we being led by the individuals that call themselves political leaders? The essence of political leadership is to transform the living condition of the people. It is not to make the people subservient to you. The essence of political leadership is not to transform your individual's life. It is not to transform your personal life. It is not to wallow and swim in broad day and visible opulence. That is, you cannot get rich at the expense of the Liberian people or the society under the gaze of providing political leadership through nation or national transformation and progress, when in fact your actions and inactions is inverted and under reverse. No, that is not it. That is not political leadership, because history has taught us very clearly that those of the people who got involved into political leadership positions across their respective nations, where they made tremendous impact and placed their respective nations on a path of progress, they did not leave those positions with affluence and wealth, while the people will in abject poverty and destitution, and they remain at the low places of the earth. That's not it. The essence of political leadership is to transform the living condition of the people who you serve. The peoples whose hope, trust, and confidence have been reposed in you for a specific period of time. But what do we see in Liberia? What we see is on the opposite. It is on the opposite. It is in reverse. In order for the people to enjoy, in order for the people to have a sense of responsible political leadership, the people keep willing. That is, they keep crying. They keep being very subservient in their own country. They keep being placed in under the carpet. They keep being at the debased. They keep being at the debased faction of the society. And they have been led by pretentious, very pretentious, uncouth men and women that present themselves as political leaders, when in fact all they do is to enrich themselves at the expense of the people. That is not a provision of political leadership. That is not it. That is not it, fellow Liberians. And that is why this evening, I want to admonish every one of you that are listening to me and those of you that are following me live, that we have to redirect the course of this nation. The path for which it is on now is particularly retrogressive. And there are people who use belligerent languages, and they remain particularly recalcitrant when it comes to us moving this country forward. They believe that because they are benefiting from a specific political class, their personal benefit is much more important than the forward march of Liberia. Do you think we'll sit and allow you people to thrive in that very devilish act? Because it is a devilish act. It is an act that is akin to felony. It is a felonious act to do harm to the country for your personal aggrandizement, your personal greed, your selfish desire. No, not at all. Not at all, fellow Liberians. And that is what we are telling you this evening, that we should redirect the path for which this nation is on. And we should change the course of our nation. We should be able to change it. We should be able to redirect that. So if you went to the social media today, if you did conduct your own research, you will understand that this particular drug issue has not been placed under the carpet. It has not been laid to bed, and it has remained a national conversation. It has remained a conversation for which the Liberian people found immense and deep interest in. And as a result of that, they continue to speak to it. And I want to tell you what I know. I want to inform you as it relates to what I think, how I feel about this thing, this drug matter, and what is important for us to have as a means of understanding here tonight, because I've conducted my own research, I've conducted my own investigation, and my investigation have made me to understand a few things, and it will interest you to know that your association as a person matters. Your environment shapes you. The group of people whom I collaborate with, engage on the daily basis. The people who you talk to, the people whom you meet and talk, you have conversation, you engage specific issues. Those are individuals that either make or break you as a person. Yes, either make or break you as a person. What am I saying, or what am I intending to tell you is this. The president's son, his first son, by the way, Jojo Bokai, name has been, lingering in the public space for almost 3 days now, linking him to this particular drug matter. Yes, he has been linked. And today he took to his social media page to write or to publish an official rebuttal. As it relates to this particular matter. Yes, he took to his social media page and published an official rebuttal regarding this drug matter. If you were to read it, Like I have questions to ask, you will have questions to ask too. Because individuals that have been indicted into this particular drug issue where those individuals or are those individuals he usually have conversation with, are those individuals he sits with on a daily basis, and are people whom they have that proximity, that relationship, and to a larger extent members of the public have now decided to point fingers at him. I'm not saying he is involved. If you listen to me initially, I was admonishing you that are listening and following that your association as a person matters. The people who you link up with, the individuals who you interact with matters a great deal, because anything may transpire today or tomorrow and you may be linked to that particular thing, primarily if it is a negative issue. That is why Jojo today is giving a disclaimer, because there are certain individuals he aligned with yesterday, or those individuals are his close and personal friends, and they have been indicted with this particular drug issue, forcing him to come to the public to render a disclaimer, to provide a clarity as it relates to his involvement and how he knows those individuals. Ibrahim Ba, who is involved with the 300 million drug case, and the police has labeled him as someone who is remanded, charged as it relates to this particular drug matter. Ibrahim Ba and Jojo are seen in a photo. They are seen in a photo as it relates to, them having fun time. Yes, Ibrahim Ba and Jojo Bokai are seen in a photo. And this is something that I want us to be very concerned about. I want us to be concerned about, because this guy has been found, this Ibrahim Ba guy, have been found guilty of being possession of drugs. He has been found guilty of being possession of drugs in our country. And Jojo Bokai, who is the son to our president, is a close relation, or is in close relationship with this guy, Ibrahim Ba. And another person, Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore is also linked to this matter. He is also linked to this matter. We'll soon place the picture on the screen, those of you that are following live, to see it. But it is something that we should be able to talk about, right? Because those individuals are the president's personal friends. They are the president's personal friends, right? Tuzon, the picture I sent to you, please put it on the screen so that the people following live can see what I'm really, really talking about. So this guy, his friends are involved into this entire drug saga. They have been complicit. That is, the police say, no, you're involved. You people are involved. And as a result of that, we will charge you. I'm not saying they charged the president's son. I'm saying that the president's son friends have been charged. with their involvement in this particular drug matter, right? And also, if you read his Facebook post today, that particular disclaimer that he wrote, he alluded to the fact that a certain cartel, or a drug cartel, certain individual from the drug cartel texted him, warning him of his involvement with this drug cartel, and whatever he does that will bar them from conducting their business successfully in the country, the government will have them to be contempt with. Yes, that is what that was being said and stated, according to him, on his Facebook page. The president's son, Jojo Buckeye. That's what he said, fellow Liberians. That's what he said. So he also said that he blocked the number, and he showed the communication that he had with those individuals allegedly to the Liberian National Police and the Joint Security. So you see, your association as an individual matters the most. Your association matters the most, fellow Liberians. Your association matters the most as an individual. So, Mr. President, you have to warn your son, Jojo Buckeye. You have to warn Jojo Buckeye very vehemently that his name have been brewing in the public space, not for the right reasons, but for the wrong ones. Not for the right reasons, but for the wrong ones. I do not want to say it is a means of propaganda. I do not want to say we are attempting to dehumanize the vice president or demoralize the president's son. But he also alluded to the fact that those of the individuals involved and indicted, he knows them. Mrs. Captain Gibson joining us. I think she will join us from the diaspora this